Mackenzie Shirilla documentary has sparked a lot of attention and a lot of conversation all over the internet. One of the more unpopular conversations is that Mackenzie isn't guilty of murder. And I'm not talking about from her fans. I'm talking about from professionals who see cases like this on a regular basis.
Mackenzie Shirilla, the subject of the new Netflix documentary, The Crash, is not guilty of murder. Guilty of manslaughter, but not guilty of murder. And
Meet Stephanie. She's a defense attorney out of New York, and she believes that Mackenzie's attorney made a critical error by going with a bench trial instead of a jury.
If you don't know who I am, my name is Stephanie. I'm a criminal defense attorney, specifically a public defender, and I, like many of you, have recently been paying more attention to this case since the new Netflix documentary dropped. Now, let me explain to you my opinion. In order for her to be guilty of murder, there has to be that premeditation and that intent, right? And I think that that's where the prosecution failed in their case. Now, obviously, the judge disagreed. She opted for a bench trial. And the reason why they opted for a bench trial is because the case focused so much on that premeditation and that intent, which is more of a legal issue than that, which would have been a little bit more complicated for a jury. So her defense team felt that a judge would be better able to understand that premeditation and intent part of the murder charges. But I think the prosecution failed to show that. Really, they had only that she had visited or driven past where the accident happened 3 days prior. That was really their nail in the coffin moment for them. But I don't think that necessarily shows premeditation, because there could be a multitude of reasons why she had driven past that location or had visited that location prior. What those could have been is up to her, but she doesn't have to say anything in her own defense, right? The other arguments were that she and her boyfriend had broken up multiple times. That would be Dom, that they had a contentious relationship, that she was abusive towards him. But still, none of that leads me to the ultimate conclusion of, did she intentionally want to kill them? Her foot was still pressed on the gas when they arrived at the scene, which to me, it just doesn't scream intentional or premeditated.